prepare to race onto the field. Everything is riding on this football game. So there's a special intensity, a special urgency. Here come the Volunteers. Wherever you listen throughout the world, it's football time in Tennessee.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Wanted to drop a quick video as this last night, Tennessee picked up a commitment from three-star defensive lineman Jason Jenkins. You can see where he tweets out there, Vol Nation, let's rock, hashtag GBO. We'll get into his commitment, talk a little bit about that. But as always, do me a favor, go ahead and smash that like button just below the video. If you would so kindly press that little thumbs up. It's free, it's quick, it's easy. It helps the channel. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts, we're not insiders, we are fans just like you. So if you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Got several things I want to talk about here in recruiting. Not only the commitment by Jason Jenkins, but a couple of other things as well. But let's go ahead and jump into Jenkins first. You can see there on the profile, 6'6", 260-pound defensive lineman out of New Jersey. He is a three-star prospect. 26th ranked player in the state of New Jersey, 147th ranked defensive lineman. He is tall, long, gonna have to put on some weight. As of now, he plays defensive end, but he does have a versatile body. He's the type of guy that if he does add enough weight, you could possibly slide him inside or continue to use him at the defensive end position. But when you look at the scouting report, this is from his head coach at Notre Dame High School, Sean Clancy. Says he's a great young man who is a hard worker. The sky's the limit for him with his talent and his football future. He's a great kid. He's got an explosive first step, uses his hands really well, and has relentless pursuit. Says Jason is a very instinctive player and a real competitor. Says, I think he'll fit in great at Tennessee. He is relentlessly hard worker who is really committed to football. He's got that switch that goes on that you need in a defensive lineman. Since we played him inside and outside, really all over the field, he's got a mean streak, and I think he's going to do great. So again, that's the scouting report from his high school coach, but it's all going to come down to how much size he can put on. But also, this is a guy, it's not one of those, a James Pierce or a Tyree West that, coming in, you think, can they contribute as a freshman, or if not, probably next season. This is a guy that's really just a project. He is a project. He is a guy that is going to continue to learn. And again, under Rodney Garner, you're going to trust his player evaluation, but not only that, his player development. And is Jason Jenkins a guy that could develop over the next 2 to 3 years and really make an impact going into, say, his junior or senior year? He did have offers from Boston College, Pitt, West Virginia, but he's the latest in the boat for the class of 22. We're getting ready to wrap things up. Signing day is right around the corner. But so we'll see how Tennessee finishes out this class. Ahmad Motin is still on the board as well. He's a 4-star defensive tackle out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, he's giving Miami the last visit going into signing day. Garner and Heupel did go down and visit him in Florida this past Wednesday, but everything I am seeing, everything that I read says that Ahmad Motin is going to end up at Miami. Also, I mentioned in a previous video, Miguel Mitchell, 3-star corner, committed to Florida. Was supposed to be on campus this weekend, ended up canceling his visit. Obviously, not a good sign. All signs indicate he will stick to his recruitment with Florida. So we'll see how Tennessee wraps up this class of 22. It's not, you're not really going to go into panic mode again. Tennessee's still sitting top 15 class going into signing day this week. But we'll see if they can add Ahmad Motin or I just don't see him or Mitchell, either one. But again, that leaves spots open as we head through the spring into the summer, and Tennessee is going to get aggressive in the transfer portal. Now, Marquise Robinson, the Auburn transfer, made a video on him this past week. He did make it on campus for a visit, so continue to keep your eyes there. Tyler Steen, offensive tackle in the portal from Vanderbilt. He's a guy that has started, I think it's over 25 games in the SEC. He would fill a position of need. He is in the portal. He's planning a visit to Knoxville sometime this spring. According to Brent Hubbs, he is being very quiet when it comes to his recruitment, so not a lot of news there, but he does plan to visit with Tennessee. Those are a couple of names to watch, but again, things are going to pick up after spring practice in the transfer portal. Now, one of you guys in the comment section asked me to make a video talking about Ethan Davis. I made a video when he made his commitment. He's a 4-star tight end, class of 23 out of Swanee, Georgia. He's going to be an early enrollee, so he's going to arrive next January. But I think he is kind of, laying the foundation. I talked in the video I made about Caleb Herring, about the importance of keeping in-state guys here and how I felt like Caleb Herring could be that foundation. Ethan Davis is establishing that leadership role already. And there's an article floating around out there about what Ethan Davis had to say about Tennessee. Again, he committed way early. He says, here's the quote, "I tell them all there's no place like Tennessee. I'm sure you know that. Some were telling me some of these other places they've already been, and I just tell them that this is the best it's going to get. All the other schools are cool, but they are nothing like Tennessee." And the last quote, which I love, Ethan Davis says, "I'm locked in. There's no going to see anybody else." 4-star tight end, class of 23, shutting down his recruitment, shutting down visits, doesn't care about other campuses. He is locked in, dialed in, and ready to go to work for Josh Heupel, and he's one of those kids that could be a special player for many years to come. The last thing I want to talk about in this little recruiting update is this. It's an article from John Bryce over at footballscoop.com. Says, seeking to build off Josh Heupel's first year, Tennessee expanding recruiting operations. It says the VAWLS want to enhance support staff in the football department. We talked about the importance of this when you go back to Josh Heupel hiring Billy High from North Carolina, the value that he brings to the recruiting game. Now he's locked in at Tennessee. But it's not good enough. Josh Heupel wants to continue to expand. We see it happening at places like Georgia and at Florida and at Alabama. The recruiting staffs are huge, and Josh Heupel says this is not enough. We need more. Danny White approves it. Here's what the article says. Says, perhaps unsurprisingly, the quest for top-level off-the-field personnel in the Southeastern Conference is nearly as rugged as the recruiting of future student athletes and the pursuit of on-field assistant coaches. It says already Billy Napier plucked away top recruiting staffer Katie Turner from rival Georgia to top on-campus position at Florida. LSU had made multiple big off-the-field moves since Brian Kelly's arrival, most notably this past week landing Corey Phillips away from NC State. Now Josh Heupel and the University of Tennessee are seeking to bolster their recruiting and personnel departments. It says here UT is seeking to hire a pair of on-campus recruiting coordinators for full-time, full-benefit positions with Heupel's football department. It says Tennessee, which has openly targeted expanding and upgrading football personnel and recruiting operations as it seeks to build upon Heupel's 7-win debut season and works to move beyond the NCAA investigation that resulted in the firing of Jeremy Pruitt, landed a top 15 national class during 2022 signing period. The VAWLS landed a couple of key late additions out of both Georgia and North Carolina to close with a class ranked in the top 6 of the SEC. Now, as we're reading this, we all know that's not good enough. We all know being top 6 in the SEC is not good enough. It doesn't matter where you rank nationally. If you're 6th in the SEC, then you're behind. But we've said multiple times, you have to give Josh Heupel a pass for 2022 based on the circumstances. Everything we just read there, based on how late he was brought in, the way the hiring process went. You had to get Danny White in place before you could get a head coach in place. So I think we have to give Josh Heupel a pass for 2022, but the buck stops here. He is going to be graded on how he does in the class of 23, off to a good start with Ethan Davis. Caleb Herring right around the corner, appears to be making a decision in April. We'll see. Usually quarterbacks are the type of guys that jump in the boat early. Can they land Nico, the kid out of California? Can they get him in the boat early and continue to build momentum in this recruiting class? That would be a big one, but it goes a long way to talk about adding recruiting staff. It is a huge part of the game, not only in recruiting high school kids, but it sounds like Billy High's position is going to be more about the transfer portal. That's, we go nuts making all these videos because there's interest from Tennessee, interest from the player. We're trying to gauge who's actually worth covering when it comes to making a transfer portal video. There are thousands of kids in that portal that Tennessee has to keep an eye on. They have to evaluate. They have to recruit. So adding this personnel will help Tennessee in that aspect. It says while Tennessee explores potential personnel staffing additions and recently just added the well-regarded Billy High away from the University of North Carolina into its football department, the VAWLS want to fill at least 2 on-campus recruiting positions. The positions will report to the Director of Recruiting, Angelia Brummett. Interested applicants can apply directly to Brummett via email. So that's the article from Football Scoop. Tennessee looking to continue to build on their recruiting personnel. Jason Jenkins in the boat. Couple little nuggets there as far as we go through the rest of signing until we get to signing day this upcoming week. Hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts on Jenkins. What do you think of taking so many defensive linemen? You know, I said that when I made the video about the kid from Auburn being in the portal and Rodney Garner having interest. You got Ahmad Motin. You have all the kids coming in the class of 22. Rodney Garner's loading up that defensive line. But are we going to see some guys in the secondary? Are we going to see some linebackers? A lot of positions to fill, a lot of needs on that defense. Hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. This is the Talkin' VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.